Let us get on with the next section and see briefly what it is about. First, like we've seen this major term called as underemployment, we are going to dig into deeper into it. Right? We're going to see the basic definition and the examples. Then we're going to see how to create more employment after evaluating the scenario of underemployment. Under that, we are going to see the different kind of long-term measures and the short-term measures that can be taken in order to create more employment. What is underemployment? Let us explain this concept with a certain example of a small farmer called Lakshmi. So Lakshmi owns about 2 hectares of unirrigated land dependent only on rain and growing crops like jowar and arhar. All 5 members of her family work in the same plot throughout the year. Why? Because they have nowhere else to go for work except for agriculture. Everyone is working, no one remains idle, but in actual fact, their labor effort gets divided. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is definitely the situation of underemployment, where people are apparently they seem like they're working, but all of them are made to work less than what their potential lets them do. This kind of underemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployed. So that is the main difference between underemployed and unemployed. Unemployed basically means you're not having a job at all, and it is a completely known, seen fact. But with underemployment, it is hidden. They don't realize that they are being underemployed because they don't know their exact potential with respect to the other sectors. Hence, this is also called as disguised unemployment. Suppose a landlord, Sukram, comes and hires 1 or 2 members of Lakshmi's family to work on his land. Lakshmi's family is now able to earn some extra income through the wages that are being given by the landlord Sukram. Since you do not need 5 people to look after that small plot, 2 people moving out does not definitely affect the production of that plot. The 2 people may move to work in a factory. Once again, the earnings of the family would definitely increase, and they would also continue to produce the same as how much they were producing in the plot. Ultimately, there is definitely an increase in the wages that the family is getting. So from this story of Lakshmi, what have we concluded? Even if we remove a lot of people from the agricultural sector and provide them with proper work elsewhere, agricultural production as a whole will not suffer. The incomes of people who take up other work would increase the total family income. This underemployment can also happen in other sectors. For example, we see other people of the service sector on the street pushing a cart or selling something where they may spend the whole day but earn a very meager salary. They are doing this work because they don't have a better opportunity to perform to their full potential elsewhere. So after we've seen this scenario of underemployment, how do you think we can create more employment? First, the government can spend some money or banks can provide a loan to construct a well to irrigate the land. This is specific to case of Lakshmi. Further, no dams and canals are dug. This will definitely, due to the irrigation, it will increase the number of crops and it's faster, leads to a lot of employment generation within the agricultural sector because many people will be employed to build the dam. Right? So the second process is when production increases, there is a need to transport it to the markets in order to sell that kind of produce. Governments can invest money in transportation and storage of crops in godowns, or they can make rural roads better so that many trucks reach everywhere earlier, in a earlier period of time. Further, it provides employments to those in the transport sector and the ones in the road construction sectors. Agriculture also needs different inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, agricultural equipment, and pump sets in order to draw water. To avoid loans via money lenders, local banks can give credit at a reasonable rate of interest. Need to provide cheap agricultural rate credit to farmers for farming to improve, right? Because when you depend on money lenders, you will have a higher rate of interest, and when the crops really don't perform well, the farmers will get into a debt. So that is not a very good scenario in the long run. So hence there is a need for the banks or the government to produce cheap agricultural credit. You should identify, promote, and locate industries and services in semi rural areas where many people may be employed. For example, opening a cold storage could give an opportunity for farmers to store their products such as potatoes and onions and sell them where the price is good. So, this is the entire advantage of what a cold storage will give you. Every state or region has potential for increasing the income and employment for people in that area. It could be tourism, it could be regional craft industry, or it could be new services that are booming such as IT. Some of these would require proper planning and support from the government. For example, a study by the Planning Commission gives out the following facts. If tourism as a sector is improved, every year we can give additional employment to more than 35 lakh people. Nearly 20 lakh jobs can be created in the education sector alone. So the given steps that were the 4 pointers that were discussed were long-term measures. So what are the basic short-term measures to improve the employment scenario? The central government of India made a law implementing the right to work in about 625 districts of India. So this kind of a law was called as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, also abbreviated into Manrega 2005. Under this, all those who are able to and are in need of work in rural areas are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government. If the government fails in its duty to provide such an employment, it will give unemployment allowances to the people in terms of cash.